continues the five senses, and today is touch. And there's a lot of instances I could have used, a lot of verses, and there's some that come to mind right now that I think, oh, like I love the one about the woman who says, if I could just touch the hem of his garment. You got to read that one. At any rate, I had to pick the one, or I actually picked two, but that are very, very meaningful to me and that are very important. So first, for the first one, you got to know it's mentioned in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. So all three synoptic gospels, and you'll have to look up what synoptic means. Think of synopsis of a book and you kind of get it. The ones that follow a sequential story of Jesus's life, all three mention this one. And you have to know a little background. A leper back then was considered unclean. So if you had a skin disease known as leprosy, then you would be ostracized from society. You'd be an outcast. You would be told to go live somewhere else, and you wouldn't be able to be near people. You had to stay a certain distance. It was worse than the 6-foot social distancing of now. It's more like 20 feet. You couldn't, no one could touch you because then they were considered unclean. So they lived very lonely, depressed lives after they were diagnosed with leprosy. And so when Jesus was coming around and healing people, it brought this hope, this thought maybe I won't always be like this. Maybe there's a chance. So anyway, a leper probably, in my estimation, bore more scars internally than externally. Externally, they looked like a leper, and it deteriorate, their skin would look awful. And at any rate, internally, I think emotionally and spiritually, they're scarred in ways that were even more painful because nobody could touch them. They had to stay away from their families. Okay, enough background. So I'm going to read this out of Mark because that's the gospel we're studying at the Red Barn right now. So Mark chapter 1, verses 40 and 41. A man with leprosy came and knelt in front of Jesus, begging to be healed. If you are willing, you can heal me and make me clean, he said. Moved with compassion, Jesus reached out and touched him. I am willing, he said, be healed. You see what I'm talking about? That verse just gets me every time. He filled with compassion. Jesus didn't just say you're healed. Jesus didn't have to say anything. The power of Jesus was great enough to heal the man without him even coming near him. And we have another instance in scripture of that happening where Jesus has said, go, your son's well. And Jesus never even touched the kid. But this man needed to be touched. And Jesus reached out and touched him, which healed him inside and out. So, you know what? I was going to share another verse, but I'm not going to because that one's so powerful. Just meditate today on the fact that Jesus knows what you need. And whatever it is that you need, this man needed to be touched. Jesus is going to provide that, but you have to receive what he knows you need. You can't hold out for what you want because that's not what God has for you. So today, just remember, Jesus reached out and touched the leper, and he is here for you, and he wants to reach out and touch you in a special way today.